Welcome back to another TradeOuts tutorial. This is going to be a video on Bybit, which is one of, if not my favorite exchange that I use to trade on. I've had quite a few people ask me to do a tutorial on Bybit. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the site, some of the popular features, at least that I use when I'm trading off of it, and what I use when I am incorporating Bybit with my trading bots. So I'm going to go ahead and show you all of that stuff. That being said, let's get to the video. And as usual, there is a disclaimer. Please pause your video and read it thoroughly. All contents for entertainment and educational purposes only. Nothing's financial advice. And past performance is no guarantee of future results. So after you log into Bybit, this is the home screen that you're going to see. And I'm just going to cover, the things that I think are most important, the stuff that I actually use on a daily basis. I'm not going to cover every single little part because it's going to be a very, very long video. So we're going to start off first with Spot because this is relatively new to Bybit, which is pretty neat. So if you click on Spot, this is where you're going to go to trade Spot. So Bitcoin, you can see they have ETH, they have a bunch of different alts, DOT, ADA, XRP, list goes on, but there's quite a few alts that you can come here, and they're USDT pairs. There is a few BTC pairs, which is really cool. So you could trade ETH BTC or XRP BTC as well. But this works like any other exchange that you're on. Basically, again, it's just a spot exchange, so which is really cool. I'm kind of glad that they added this, although to be honest with you, I don't use it, but I think it's a really neat feature to have on an exchange. So next up, we're going to move over to the derivatives tab, which is where I do majority of my trading on Bybit. And the first tab, which 3 commas currently supports this, which is awesome. So this is the inverse perpetual, where you use the coin itself as collateral. So if you're going to trade Bitcoin USD here, you use Bitcoin as your collateral. So for those of you like myself who want to use Bitcoin or who want to use Ethereum in order to accumulate more Bitcoin or Ethereum, this is exactly how you do it. And it's a really awesome tool that I use with my trading bots. But this is where I do the majority of my trading. If I'm trading Bitcoin or ETH, I'm usually on Bybit. So first of all, again, this is inverse perpetuals. There's also USDT Perpetual, which 3 commas does not currently support this in its current form because it gives you, when you try to add your USDT account, like you try to set up a bot for it, for example, it'll give you an error saying that hedge mode is active, and 3 commas doesn't currently support this yet, but they are in the process of adding support for that, which I think would be pretty neat. I'll get into this, not really a video to get into leverage strategies, but there's reasons that are great for that. There are reasons that are definitely, I think, are really detrimental that I'll cover in a bot related video. As far as why you would want to use the perpetuals here for your bots. But anyway, you can see though, if you are used to trading on futures, for example, there's a lot of alts that Bybit just recently added. So they definitely have a pretty extended amount of different altcoins that you can trade here. So if you're used to that, this is an outstanding site to use, and I highly recommend it. But for kind of the explanation, I am going to go back to the inverse perpetual and kind of walk you through here, basically what the interface looks like, how to use it, and go from there. I guess before I start here, there are features, so you can trade futures on Bybit if you like. I'm not going to cover that because I do use these from time to time, but there's kind of different strategies and reasons that I would use that. Again, is kind of outside the scope of this video, but you are able to trade futures here as well. So back to the inverse perpetual, let's go check out Bitcoin. And again, I'm going to kind of start and kind of work my way. So we're trading BTC USD. Here's your current price. Tells you your 24-hour change, high, low, 24-hour turnover. So how much is traded. And this is very important when you are looking. So again, even if you're going to use these for bots, this is something you have to be aware of. So a funding rate here, when it's positive like this, which I'd say the majority of the time it is, this is what shorts are getting paid. Okay, and the people, and again, so this is what shorts are getting paid. So anybody in a short position is going to get paid 0.0249% every 8 hours. And the people that are paying the shorts are the longs. So anytime you're in a long position again and the funding is positive, you are going to be paying a funding rate of normally, what I call neutral is 0.01%. So the funding rate right now is a little elevated, and so longs are going to be paying a bit more to be in their position, and the funding payment occurs 3 times a day every 8 hours. So just so you're aware. So if you're going to be in a position right now, I could do a little bit of a calculation for you, just so you kind of get an idea. Let me drag my calculator over here. So let's say that you are in a $100,000 long position, okay? And you multiply this by the funding rate. So, and again, this is 0.0249%. 1% would literally be it would be 1.000. So that's 1%. Okay, so this is not 2.5%. This is 0.0249%. Okay, sometimes that confuses people. So the correct way to do this on here would be 0.0 would be 3 zeros, 249. So every 8 hours, assuming the funding rate remained constant, so 0.0249%, if you held a $100,000 long position, you would pay $24.90 in funding just to hold your long position every 8 hours. Okay, so that's the price to pay. If you're going to trade Usdt Perpetual, there is a funding rate. There's also on the USDT pairs, there's funding rates as well, and they will vary. So the Usdt Perpetual funding rate is 0.0249 again. If you went to the USDT, which I guess we could actually go take a look really fast. So if you went to the Perpetuals USDT, the funding rate is significantly higher. So there you can see it. So it's 0.0693. So longs, again, if you're in a $100,000 long position, you would be paying almost $70 on this, in 2 hours. So you can see your countdown here, you'd be paying almost $70 to be in that long position. So let's go back. And again, so that's if the funding rate is positive. If the funding rate is negative, then longs are getting paid. So the shorts would be paying the longs. It's just vice versa. So I'm going to go, so obviously here's your different time frames, right? So this is a 5 minute. I think it just defaults to the 5 minute chart. If you click on 30 minute, it's going to change to 30 minute candles. Same if you clicked on a 4 hour, for example. So, there's different time frames that you can use. Let's go back to the 5 minute for now. And then one thing that's pretty cool about Bybit is you can actually put up indicators on your chart. So it's the same indicators that you can find over on TradingView. So, there could be a, numerous amount of indicators that you can put on here. One that I like is Ichimoku Cloud. Shows you follow me now. And you can literally put it right here on your chart, which is really cool. And you can customize it the same. I'm going to just do this really quickly so you can. So these are literally the same settings. Go over to style. And then, I like to change them to make sure that they match the colors that I like. That type of stuff. Not going to change all of them. I guess I am. Anyway, so here it is. So this is Ichimoku in a 5 minute time frame. If you go to a daily, and I'll show you why this is actually pretty helpful to have this on your chart. So you know, not again, this is kind of outside the scope of the video, but let's say that, hey, you know, I really am looking for the data keygen, and this is somewhere that I want to bid. So again, here's your chart, walk you through the time frames. I walked you through, and again, this is so this part's very similar to TradingView. And again, you have indicators, which I think are really, really useful. This isn't really a substitute for me though. It's not like I, you know, try to chart all my levels on here or anything like that and trade off of here. I still use TradingView, but for those of you, this might be something that you find really useful to help you with your trading. But again, let's say I wanted to place a bid here. To try to catch, you know, again, let's say, oh, I think price is going to go down to the data keygen here. You can literally come over to this tab and, you know, right now it's set to cross and 100x leverage. Okay, so if you wanted to change this, which I really advise you before you, like, I really advise you to do your research and what these mean if you aren't sure, because this can play a big role and, you know, and definitely affect your account if you're not sure what these buttons do. And I'm not going to go into like crazy detail about what, you know, like all the differences are, because again, this is just a relatively quick tutorial. But let's say that I wanted to change, again, right now I'm on cross mode, which basically uses the entire balance of your account to back up your position. So if you are liquidated and you are on cross, if you are liquidated, you will lose your entire account. So be very careful with that. For this example, I mean, we could just use isolated, and then you could actually select what leverage you would like. So I definitely recommend, again, to learn, if you're not sure about leverage, please do your research before you even start trading using leverage. But let's say, hey, I want to take a 5x leverage trade. So I would come over here and click isolated, and then change your leverage to 5, click confirm. And you'll see that it changes up here. Okay, so now any trade that I put in is going to be 5x leverage. So just a rough guess, you know, I want to bid the keygen here, this yellow line. I'm going to put 53,725. So I can literally type this in, 53,725. This is my order price. Quantity, just $1. Again, this is just a tutorial video. And then you click buy, right? Because we want to buy this level if it comes anywhere near it. So we're going to click buy. It's going to give you a little message here. So it tells you your order price. So make sure you check these things before you click confirm. So order price, 53,725. Yes, that's what I want to bid. Quantity of $1. You can change this to anything that you want it to be, because obviously everybody's account size is going to be different. And then the order cost, it's zeros because it's only $1. So if you made this a little bit bigger, I guess I can make it a little bit bigger. I guess that's fine. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Let's do 1,000. There we go. You'll see it. It actually will change. So here's your order cost in Bitcoin, your order value in Bitcoin, since you're trading 5x leverage. And then this is very important to understand. This is your estimated liquidation price. If the price of Bitcoin fell below $44,958.50, you will be liquidated. Now, the nice thing, well, it's not nice when you get liquidated, but the nice thing about trading in isolated mode is that you're only going to use the amount of margin that you put into the trade. So again, if you committed, let's say $500 to the trade, and if you get liquidated, you're only going to lose whatever you set into the trade. You're not going to lose your entire account, assuming you didn't place a trade with your entire account. But whatever you committed to this trade, that's the max risk that you're going to face. Okay, so that's, again, isolated is obviously completely different than cross, which, again, understand the differences, but isolated is definitely, I would say it's a bit safer just because you're only risking essentially what you put out there, right? And then you could put take profit, stop loss in, but we haven't done that for this example. And then you click confirm. Whoops. Oh, because I took too long. So sometimes like when you take too long, like if you're like, I'm going to explain this, which you're not going to do, then it will give you that error. So we just have to do this again really fast and then click confirm. You can see order successful. So here is the $1,000 order that we're going to place here at your daily Kijun. And you know, like this is in the order books right now waiting to be filled. So if price does come down to where this kind of green horizontal dotted line is, it's going to fill your order. So what's awesome about Bybit as well, which I think is really cool, is that let's say that I wanted to edit this order. So there's a number of ways that you can do that. One way is to actually come down here and you see where it says active one. That is where your $1,000 order is waiting. Okay, so you can come in here and let's say it's like, you know, I'm gonna push this up a little bit because I'm worried that that's not gonna fill, right? So there you go. So we changed the order price and you can see that the line shifted up slightly. Or you can say, you know what, $1,000 is enough. Let's go to $5,000, for example. It's that easy. So you just come down here and change your amount that you want to trade. Now, if you wanted to change your order price without coming in here to actually edit the order price, you can actually just move this order as you like. So here, if you click on it, you see how you're dragging it like that? You can actually change it to whatever you want. Okay, so we'll just leave it here. And you see it's amending. So now your new order is 54,410. So let's say you're looking at, or you know, again, if you're scalping or whatever, you're looking at market structure and you're saying, hey, you know, I really want to place, you know, I don't think this is going to get hit. I want to move this up a little bit, maybe place it somewhere around here. And it's that simple. And then it literally comes in and changes it for you. So now your new limit order, your long that you're waiting to be filled, is sitting at 55,781. You can literally move this wherever you want, up or down, put it here, and you see it just edits the order and places it for you. So really, really awesome. And then, so again, that's kind of how you enter a long position. So if you click the X here, it cancels it too, which is cool. So it just cancels it right away. If you wanted to place it short, it's really as simple as, so like shorts are obviously going to be above current price. This is where you're going to be placing your bids, unless you wanted to enter a short right now. Then you could use market, or if you, so like so real quick, there's two different, the difference between limit and market, very simple. So a limit order is something that you are placing in the order books and you're basically, you know, it's not going to be at current price, because if you're going to trade at current price, you need to use a market order to make sure that you get in right away. But a limit order is, and what I like about using limit orders on Bybit is essentially you're placing, just like we did earlier, that was a limit order when we placed the bid right here. The nice thing about limit orders is that you actually get paid to take those trades on Bybit. So you get a rebate. So instead of paying, you know, you're paying a fee to open a trade, which is typical on most exchanges. On Bybit, when you are placing a limit order, you actually get a rebate, which is awesome. So they actually pay you. So for example, let's say I wanted to take a short and use limit. There's a few different ways that you could do it. So let's say you're like, I'm looking at price coming back up to 63,000, for example. And like, that's where I want to take a short. Same thing here. You could place your order price, 63,000. Quantity, we'll just leave it the same. So this is one thing that I think is very important as well. And you notice that I have this checked, this is the post only. So if you read it, the post only order will only be executed as a maker order. So this is to make sure that you don't pay market order fees. So for example, if you're trying to catch, again, price is really volatile right now. If you're trying to catch a trade here as soon as possible, like you want to get filled somewhere around here, but you don't want to pay the market fees to get in for whatever reason. Well, I mean, it's good reason, because you don't want to pay more than you need to, right? In fact, you get paid again to use limit orders. But you make sure that post only is checked. And if for some reason you go to enter your trade and it would execute as a market order, it will just cancel instead of filling. So for those of you, again, that want to make sure that your trades are being entered as a limit order, make sure that the post only box is checked. So again, here's your limit order, 63,000. Let's just say you click sell short. It's going to give you the same details here. Your estimated liquidation price is $78,260.50. Again, this is on 5x leverage. Looks good to me. Click confirm. And there you go. So this time it shows up in red. So you can see we have a limit order at $63,000, $1,000 order here. And your dotted line goes across so you can see exactly where it's lined up. So if price comes up to $63,000, there's a pretty good likelihood that it's going to get filled. So those are limit orders. And you can put as many of those, and kind of one cool tactic here, like if you're scalping, is you can actually come up to this plus or minus, click on that, and you can increase. So again, your base or your first order is 63,000. So let's say you want to ladder your bids and basically scale into positions, right? So you don't want to put it all at 63,000. Let's say that you want to have a ladder that's going up, and it basically, you know, in a way, kind of DCA your way in to the position. So let's say I wanted to put another position at 63,100. I could go here and make that change if I wanted to, or I could just click on the plus or minus and click plus 100. And you see how it changes that? Go to sell short, confirm, and there's another bid right here. I went on a 5-minute lower time frame. You'll be able to see that a little bit better. There you go. So here's your two bids. So you can go place another one. So let's say another $100 up, and this one I want to change. You know, I want to go up to $2,000. Let's click limit or sell short. I mean, and there you go. So you can see you can ladder your bids. And you can, again, you know, this is just another tool that you can use. It's nice to know that it's there. I do use that from time to time. And it's the same thing here. You can literally pull any one of these bids and drag it, move it anywhere that you want, and it will automatically update for you. And then just to cancel, just click the X's, and now there's nothing in the order book for you. Okay, so that covers limit orders. And also, one tool, like, so let's say that you're in a position. All right, so let's actually do an example here. I'm not sure we'll see if we can try to get into a position here. Obviously things are relatively volatile at the moment, but just for demonstration purposes, we'll see if we can get we can see if we can use some of these other features here that I like to use. So one important thing that I use all the time is this reduce only button. And the nice thing about the reduce only button is it obviously will only reduce your position. So I like to use these for take profits. And basically, like when I have my entire trade set up in here, okay, and I'll give you an example of why you might want to do this. So let's say that we want to take a long position because we think price is going to reverse. And I'm just, again, this is literally just for an example here to you know, like, I'm not saying that I would necessarily trade this, but let's say that you know, we want to get an order in here because we think price is going to go up. So price actually moving up pretty decently at the moment. So if I try to set a limit order, you know, another thing that you can do is if you want to get in close to current price here, you can actually, again, you're on limit, and you can try. So let's say that you want to try to get filled at 60,800 or something. Well, this is going a little bit quicker, but let's say you want to get filled at, you know, one of these, like as close as possible. That way you get the limit rebate. But you all, you know, like, so you can pick one of these prices here, click it, and you see how it automatically updates. So let's say 60,800, you click on that, you see how it updates. 60,798, click on that, and it'll automatically change it here for you. That way you can quickly try to get into this position. So I think that this is a really, you know, again, this is just for demonstrative purposes. We'll just use a taller. And then let's say that you want to get filled here at 797. So we're going to click buy, confirm. So there you go. The little green dot, I don't know if you can see that right there, is my order. All right. So if you zoom in, let's go down to even a minute time frame. That way you can see a little bit better. So we'll zoom in, there's my order. And let's say I want to put another $25 lower. I guess do $5 lower, another dollar. You can see that I'm starting to ladder in my bids. Okay, please fill. There we go. So we are filled, and you can see it actually filled both. And this is looking like a really terrible trade right off the bat. But so again, you can see the 2 orders that I filled here. Tells you your leverage, order or quantity of 2, what your average entry price was, what your liquidation price is, and your unrealized P&L. Okay, so this is where you're going to monitor your P&L or profit and loss. It's going to tell you whether you're making money in a position or not. I honestly could care less because this is literally $2, right? For purpose for demonstrative purposes, I wanted to show you how you can use how you can take profits and how you're going to set a stop loss. Okay, so let's set our take profit first. Which let's say our take profit is somewhere close, somewhere reasonably close. Let's just say 60,000. So what's our entry? 827. Okay, let's say 60,840. I'm not even sure this is going to fill. So again, 60,840. And then you're going to use reduce only. And what that's going to do is it's going to make sure that when 60,840 is hit, that it's only going to reduce your position. Okay, so again, you can make this $1 if you only want to take half the position off, or you can fully get out and just press $2 there. So you're going to actually sell short because you're in a long position at the moment, right? So you're actually going to click sell short, but make sure that it's reduced only so that it is a take profit. And this will be a limit order, so you will get paid to take this order. There you go. So there's your take profit, which is this, your short limit order that you put in here. Now I'm going to put in a stop loss, okay? That way you can see the full trade up. So I would come over here to conditional, click on that. Trigger price is going to be whatever you want your stop, and I'm going to be a total, I guess I'll try to put it close, that way we're not here all night trying to figure this out. Let's say that 60,743 is probably going to get hit. And then here's my stop loss. You're going to make sure that it says close on trigger. Okay, that way it closes your position and doesn't open a new position, because if you don't close on this, then this is basically telling you. So again, a close order will only reduce your position size, which is what we want. Obviously, we're about to get hit if I enter this right now. But again, make sure it says close on trigger anytime you're trying to put in a stop loss. And that will be a sell or a short as well, because you want to exit your position. So you hit that. Make sure it's everything you want to say, and you click confirm, and we are literally just got taken out of the position. So there you go. So, and you can see what else happened there, which again, this was an awful trade, but I'm happy to do it for a demonstration, for everybody. So you can see our stop loss got triggered, and our limit order that was a reduce only went away. So as soon as there wasn't a position for you to be in anymore, it got deleted. If you did not, so again, coming back to this limit tab, if you did not click reduce only, that would still be there. And that was still fill. So again, if price reverts the other way and you think that you're out of the trade and that you have nothing open, well, you will still have that in the order book unless you had a reduce only. All right. So that is literally using limit orders to exit. Well, that's not true because, and by the way, so when you have a conditional, it's always market. I would always use a market, by the way. I would be very, very careful using a conditional limit order, because if it's hitting your stop loss, if it's hitting your invalidation, you definitely want to be out of that trade, in my opinion. So I always use market. I pay the market fees. It is what it is. Okay. It's cost of doing business. So we explain the limit orders and some of the tools that you can use. And the cool thing here is you can even select your take profit and stop loss right away. So let's try to do another example really quickly, just so you can kind of see how it lines up. So let's say that I wanted to take another long position here, which again, this is not exactly how I would be trading this. But let's say I want to get back in long. So I can literally, again, click somewhere close or wherever your entry would be, right? So let's say that I want to enter here, and then you click on this, buy along with take profit and stop loss, and you see how this opens up. So you can literally put your entire trade setup in here. So let's say I want to enter a little bit lower. Let's do 660. And then your take profit is going to be, let's do 61,000. And it's going to tell you what your, and it's just really hard to see. It might be really hard to see on your end, but for it'll tell you exactly what your expected profit is going to be, which is pretty cool. So again, like it gives you an idea of what your take profit is going to be. And then for stop loss, so again, this is our entry, our take profit 61,000. And then let's say our stop loss, we want to do it at 60,000. Okay. Then it tells you again what your expected loss will be if your stop loss is hit. And then you could click buy long because we're trying to go long. It gives you all of this information. Your take profit is already preset. Your stop loss is already preset so that you know that one of these two are going to hit, right? Click confirm. And there you go. So it's under your active tab. And you can see your take profit and stop loss is already built into your trade setup, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to cancel this just because I don't actually want this to fill. I'm not going to really care because it's only $2, but still you can click cancel this. And then we are back to square one. So we went over limit orders pretty extensively. Some of the kind of main tools that you're going to use there. We went over a bit on conditional again. I always recommend for myself, you can do what you want. But I prefer to use market because again, if my invalidation is hit and my reasons for wanting to be in a trade is invalidated, I want out of that trade as soon as possible. So I just pay the fees. I'm fine with that. Cost of doing business, always use market. That way I make sure that I get out of a trade. So the last thing to talk about, which is just really easy, is the market. Okay, so the market tab here. Now this is very simple. You are literally going, so okay, and change this to $1, doesn't really matter. And you, as soon as you, so again, you enter your quantity, position size that you want here. And then you can even click 10%, 25%, 50%, et cetera, and this is going to basically put in whatever max amount that you can put here. So 10%, you click on that, it's going to pre-populate what 10% of your account is essentially. But again, that's you really should never use that in my opinion, just because like I don't see how you can just generally like click one of these numbers and then that's good risk management. I think that's terrible risk management, right? Because like that's not how I would choose to like as far as, and I do have a risk management video out helping you calculate your position size for the VIPs, but again, you should be manually putting in your trade size for the most part. So let's say, I think that this is going to drop lower. I can literally market sell short $1 right here and just click confirm and boom, I'm in. So there's nothing that needs to be filled. Okay. By using market, you are literally using the existing liquidity in the order book and you're entering right away, but you're also paying a pretty decent fee to do so. But I think the fee is, 0.075%. To enter at market. The rebate, I believe, is 0.025%. So for every time, again, that you're using limit order, you're getting paid that amount. Every time that you're using a market order to enter or exit, you are paying that corresponding fee. So you look at, I'm $1 short at the moment. And then if I wanted to close this, I can literally, either market long $1 here, or I can just click close by market. And it'll, again, you can click, you wanted to take a certain percentage off of your trade at this level. This is what this means. So if you click 25%, it means you want to take 25% of your position off at market. I'm going to use 100%. And then you just literally click confirm and you're out of that trade. All right. So very, very, very simple. And this is really unfortunate timing. Doing this tutorial right now because this is like a really, really good environment for scalping at the moment. But anyway, I wanted to get this video done because, again, I've had quite a few people asking about this, you know, like how do you use Bybit and whatnot. And hopefully I'm being thorough enough for everybody. So again, you know, Bitcoin USD, talked about the funding rate, why that's important, who gets paid. It's every 8 hours. Showed you how to use indicators on your chart. Again, you can put, you know, whatever indicators you like here, different time frames. Showed you how to get in and out of positions. You know, so we use the limit orders, market orders, and we talked about the conditional orders as well. And then, you know, so I'll give you one more example of a conditional order that I think is relevant. So let's say that if price hits a certain level, you want to make sure that you're in on a trade. So let's say for whatever reason, $61,000. So let's say $61,000 is a key level for you for some reason. And you know, if you're going to sleep and if it hits that price, you know, you think Bitcoin's going significantly higher. So you want to mark it into a trade when that hits. Okay. So one thing that you can do, again, come over to conditional, put in $61,000 because you think like this is, you know, this is the price for whatever reason, if you're a breakout trader. So anyway, you know, $61,000 is your price. You come down here quantity and you can, you know, make this whatever you want it to be, make it literally whatever you want it to be. And then you want to click buy long. So do not click close on trigger. Otherwise it's going to cancel the order. It's going to automatically cancel because you don't have a position open, right? So you want to make sure that this is unchecked. So conditional, here's your trigger price, here's your amount, market, buy long, and there you go. So what will happen is that, again, if price comes up to $61,000, you will automatically mark it in at that point, meaning that you will definitely be in a position if price hits $61,000. So you're going to be long 100 contracts at $61,000 if this happens. Or, you know, again, there could be a tiny bit of slippage. This is such a tiny, ridiculously tiny order that it's not going to have any effect on the market. But it, you know, if you have a really strong upwards move, for example, there might be a little bit of slippage, which slippage just means, you know, you might set it at $61,000, but you could, you know, come and see your order. It'll say $61,005 or something like that. That just means that's where your order ended up filling. So just be aware of that. So when you're trading larger sizes, you know, if you're trading, you know, $1 million, $2 million, you know, you're doing strategy like this, you're very likely to have some sort of slippage, depending on kind of like how price approaches there. But again, like you'll like that's more of something that you should be aware of as you increase your position size. So I don't want to be in this. Obviously, I'm going to hit X. That's going to cancel. It says order is canceled successfully. And now I'm back to square one, right? So trying to make sure here, talked about everything that's relevant. I think that everything that's important that you need to know as far as, you know, trading on the, you know, inverse perpetual. USDT perpetual is the same. It's going to be the same type of trading. Obviously, there's going to be a few differences, such as the amount of alts that you're going to be able to trade. Obviously, a lot more on the perpetuals, and the funding rate is going to be slightly different sometimes. Well, in Bitcoin's case, actually quite a bit different. But, you know, those are all things that you got to look at each individual asset that you're trading and make sure that you're aware of all of the variables that are here. And then obviously, again, for the inverse perpetual, so for these 5, you can set this up. You can trade this on 3 commas. And it's set up exactly like any other bot that you're going to do. There's a few differences, which I'm going to go over in a future video, teaching you how to set up leverage bots. For those of you in VIP, that's going to be very, very, very soon. And because there's a few different things, again, when you input your leverage and whatnot, there are some differences. But again, for 3 commas, you can set these up right now if that's something that you wanted to do. One of the last things on this page that I think is important, which I didn't discuss, is the order book. And basically the green down here is all of the buyers. The red is all of the sellers. Okay. It's pretty straightforward. And, you know, you can see, I mean, this, again, things are really volatile. This is a very, very nice scalping area right now, which I'm probably going to wrap this video up soon and go actually do some trading. and hopefully not have terrible trades like we just had during this video. But anyway, those are just examples, but still. So, but again, you have your buyers here, your sellers here. You can actually change this. So you can come over here, and these are the increments. So right now you can see that everything is a 50-cent increment. So, you know, it's literally 50 cents apart. You can come here and change this to $5, and you see how that changes the order book, right? So it'll class everything a lot, you know, you'll have a bigger range of price for you to get in, and you'll see like everything changes. You come back here, maybe put it to $1, then everything, there's only $1 difference between everything. But I typically don't change this too much. So that's that. And then you have, you know, you can change the way that the order book is displayed. So you could have your bids only be showed, like if you only want to see what the bids look like. And you can see obviously like it gives you a bit more depth into the order book to see kind of what's available a bit lower. And you know, this is even a little bit more helpful if you go down to like a $5. You can kind of see a much greater range of what's available. And then same with the ask. So the ask side or the sell side, this is basically the liquidity that's available right here, and this, you know, within this price range essentially. So this is pretty helpful as well. But I typically just leave it default. It's usually okay. I mean, I'll check it every now and then, but for you know, for the majority of what I'm doing, like this is, you know, it's not really super relevant to my style of trading. Looking at what's happening immediately right here. So obviously you have your support tab here. If you know, need to contact support or you want to look at some of the help articles, this is where you can go. See your rewards hub. Again, if you're using the link in the description below, this is where you're going to find your rewards that you're eligible for. Definitely something to look into. Again, especially if you use the link in the description below, because if you deposit X amount of money, and it's not very much, again, you can see it's in the description. That you should have some rewards available in your rewards hub. And then so assets, so we can go check this out very quickly. So you click on assets here, and this is just going to show you all of the different assets that you have in your wallet. So obviously I have this blacked out or, you know, hidden. And so for your spot account, this is where you would see everything. For your derivatives account, you'll later click on this, and again, this is where you're going to see all of the so I only have Bitcoin and USDT in here at the moment on this account, and then if I had ETH, EOS, XRP, or DOT, you would see, you know, again, there would be a balance shown here as well. So that's assets. Again, this is, you know, if you wanted to deposit or transfer, this is where you would do it. Your withdrawal, right? This is where all of this takes place. So if you need to, again, deposit to your wallet, click on this. It's gonna pop up your deposit address for you to use. Or if you need to withdraw, same thing. It's very simple, straightforward, just like every other exchange out there. And then for orders and trades, this is the same as any other exchange. This is where you're going to see all of your current and previous orders or trades. Not really that important to this tutorial, but I mostly wanted to go over the actual trading and how to trade on Bybit. So again, kind of what I like about Bybit is the customer service has been fantastic. I think they take very good care of their customers, unlike some other exchanges. And because, you know, when there's been a few instances in the past where they've had some issues, and you know, whether it be, you know, there was some crazy price action and it liquidated a bunch of people. Bybit actually took care of all of those people that got liquidated, which they definitely did not need to do that, and they've done it multiple times now. But you know, again, if there's something suspicious that looks like is happening, they are the first to step up and take care of their customers. I think it's amazing. Again, they go above and beyond for their customers, and I'm definitely happy to use their platform because I think it's better than most, to be fair. And then obviously the trading fees, you know, when you're getting paid to use limit orders on an exchange, that's incredibly powerful, especially if you are using trading bots. So if you think about it, right, currently how you're, with the trading bots, if you're using them on any other exchange, whether it be Binance, whether it be Coinbase Pro, you name the exchange, you're going to be paying fees to enter and exit orders every single time. If you're on Binance trading BUSD pairs for the rest of this year, you're going to be not having to pay any fees. There are a few instances, obviously, which I've covered before, where you get these tiny little fees every now and then. But for the most part, it's free to trade on Binance for the rest of the year if you're using BUSD pairs. But there are very few instances, especially with something like Bybit, where you are getting paid to trade. So not only is your bot entering and exiting positions, hopefully giving you profit, right? Again, if you used my strategy or something very similar to that, you'll, again, your majority of the time you're taking profitable trades, right? But the awesome thing about Bybit is you can implement that exact same strategy. I shouldn't say exact because there are slight variances, which I'll be covering very soon in a future video. But you can literally, again, use that same strategy and be getting paid to enter and exit those trades as well. So you're making money from the trading bots, entering and exiting positions like they normally do. But instead of paying any fees or trading with no fees, you are getting paid to trade as well. So it's like double amazing, right? And for those of you who have taken the time to look and see how much in fees that you're actually accruing over time, you'll know that this is pretty amazing because you're getting, again, that rebate every single entry and exit that you take, as long as you're using limit orders. So incredibly powerful. And again, something I'm going to be covering very soon. But this was a very quick, it probably didn't end up being so quick, but this is a quick Bybit tutorial about just, again, the most important things, again, that I use when I'm trading here, and I think that you should be aware of. And then if you have any questions, jump into Discord. Happy to help out there. And hope that you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something from it or able to take something away. And again, with the trading bots, definitely be thinking about this because this is immensely powerful. Again, like getting paid to trade on an exchange is phenomenal enough. But if you know how many trades you are taking, and for those of you who've been using trading bots for any length of time, you know how many trades that your bots are taking on a daily basis. Imagine getting paid to take every single trade, every buy, every take profit, getting paid. It's amazing. So I will cover that in a near future video for the public. For those of you in VIP, we're going to be discussing this very, very, very soon. That being said, trade safe out there. We'll see you on the next one.